Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bantamweight Boxing YouTube channel. And I'm bringing you something a bit different today. We're going to be talking about the Eddie Hall versus Thor boxing match. Obviously, you know, if you don't know these two, they're probably the two strongest men on the planet. So I'll be careful not to slag them off at any point because I do not want to bump into them at some press conference or something. But I thought, you know, this is kind of like a purebred boxing channel. I only talk about really professional boxing. But there is a whole nother world now in the boxing community, or in the boxing world, should I say, where we've got celebrity fighters who are taking boxing very seriously, training for the fight, you know, having full fight camps. They're not just getting, a few hundred grand or whatever and told to fight on the night. They're doing full fight camps, doing pressers, doing gloves are off, etc. And it's good entertainment, a lot of it. And I thought I would give my kind of thoughts. What do I think of it? Because there's a lot of people, you know, hardcore boxing fans who would say, oh, I hate this YouTuber boxing, I hate this celebrity boxing, you know, it makes a joke of the sport, you know, some of these events, da, 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 da. But my view on it, I've got no qualms with it. I actually, if anything, I quite enjoy it. I haven't watched all of the kind of YouTube fights and these celebrity fights, but I have watched a fair few, especially the ones with KSI and Logan Paul and some of Jake Paul's fights as well, because I saw these, you know, young men who have never boxed in their life take up this sport, treat it with respect, train hard with, you know, professional coaches and put on incredible shows, you know, and I was very impressed. I think KSI and Logan Paul, bloody hell, get your words out. I'm pretty sure they fought twice. And the first one was a draw, and then I think KSI won the second one. But in both the fights, you know, very competitive, highly skilled. Yeah, and I thought it was enjoyable. There has been some more recent YouTube fights with, I think his name's Deji, which is KSI's brother. I get confused with all of it. There was a show recently which I thought was a bit trashy. I didn't watch that, but I saw people talking about it the next day. So there are kind of some which, you know, they are what they are, but I think for most people it's great entertainment. And as a boxing fan, I'm all about progressing the sport, bringing more eyes to the sport, and it seems to be that they've captured this kind of younger audience, you know, my age and a bit younger and stuff like that, or quite a bit younger. So in that sense, I think that's wicked. You know, they might watch KSI and then go, oh, all right, that was quite a good fight. Let me look at some British fighters and da-da-da-da. Let me go and see, let me watch one of AJ's fights or whatever. Next thing you know, you've got a serious boxing fan. So I'm all for it. But before I go on to a rant about all of that, let's talk about Eddie Hall versus Thor. So I didn't know much about this fight. I had heard it announced ages ago, but I think one of them I think Eddie Hall got injured, tore his bicep, I think it was. And then it's been delayed. But now it's this Saturday, and I've just seen they've got basically this gloves are off, and it's done by Kugan Cassius, which I think is brilliant. I love the fact that they got Kugan for it. You know, a real ambassador for the sport, just an absolute legend. And it's brilliant because he sits down, and Kugan's a big guy, like he's a tall guy, but like next to these two on either side of them, he looks tiny, and he's trying to get their attention at one point, because they're just going at it and they're literally not listening to a word he's got to say. And it's just hilarious. But yeah, if you haven't seen the gloves are off, I'd go and check it out because there is some real beef there. There is some real beef there. And I thought it was great because basically for some context, I had to do some reading around it because I was like, wow, these guys really hate each other. And you know when you can tell, you're like, this isn't put on, this is genuine hatred. But basically, they've both been competing against each other. You know, the two strongest men in the world, I think there's one or two others, they've been competing against each other in the World's Strongest Man contest, where you do a range of weightlifting exercises, and, you know, the one who gets the most points wins. And Eddie Hall won this competition quite a few years back, and Thor was competing against him, and basically I think Thor was quite... I think he was quite bitter about the loss, right? And didn't really congratulate Eddie Hall. And they've kind of had a thing at each other ever since. Then Eddie Hall also broke the world record for lifting 500 kilograms in the deadlift. I think that's bonkers. But yeah, he managed to do that. And then Thor went and upped him and I think did 501, basically just to mug him off a little bit and just go, well, now I've taken the world record and I've you know, what you were known for, I've also done it now. So they've had this rivalry going on for ages, and they finally decided to settle it in the boxing match, which I think is great, because if you go and look at some of their photos recently, they are in crazy shape. I saw a photo of Eddie Hall when he was training for the 500 kilogram deadlift, where he's like all muscle. He looks like Shrek. He's literally just like a boulder. And then there's a more recent photo and he's completely shredded. Must have lost, God knows how many kg he lost, but literally looks in great boxing shape. And then the same for Thor. He also, you know, they're both rocking 6 packs and they're like fucking 6'5" or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So they're both taking this really seriously, trained hard. So yeah, I'm quite excited for it. But yeah, I'd definitely go and watch that Gloves Are Off. The first like 2 seconds, I'm pretty sure Thor calls him a lying fat bitch or something like that. Like, is brilliant. And I think Eddie Hall does a great job in that. He's a really good talker. He'd actually be brilliant for a combat sport, because his trash talk is second to none. It really is. The way he winds up Thor in that press conference is, or not press conference, in their Gloves Are Off, is brilliant. There's one bit which especially stuck with me, where when Eddie Hall beat Thor in that strongest man competition, there was one exercise where I think they're doing deadlifts or something like that, and Thor failed his lift because he did what's called a double dip, where I think it's got to be one motion. You kind of go down with the weight and then come straight back up. But he kind of dipped and then I think dipped again and then came back up. Basically just did a fault, right? And I think that basically cost him the title or whatever. And then at one point in this Gloves Are Off, Eddie Hall just brings out a dip dab and then just goes, starts talking about it, dips in the dab, goes, look, this is what you call a double dip. They were just winding him up. Yeah, brilliant. I think they even, before this Gloves Are Off, they had a clash where Eddie Hall went to his training, went to where he trains. They were like spitting at each other, going for each other. So gonna be tasty this Saturday night. In terms of the fight itself, what I think will happen, I've got no clue. I saw some highlights of Thor's fight. I think he's had a fight before. He looked all right. Obviously, he's massive. They're both carrying serious weight on them. I don't think they're going to be able to go for many rounds. It's going to be a slugfest, I'm sure, if one of them doesn't get out of there early. But he looked fairly composed. You know, he's the taller guy. He's going to try and keep it rangy. But I've seen Eddie Hall on the pads. That's all I've seen him on. Looks lively. Looks lively. He's obviously got a lot of power. Don't need me to tell you that. I think you've probably worked that out. So we'll see what happens. I'm backing Eddie Hall. I'm going to say Eddie Hall by KO. He's the Brit. He just seems so up for this fight. So confident. They both do, but he's just got a bit of an aura around him, Eddie Hall. And I think he'll get in on the inside, land some bombs, and KO this Viking. But we'll see. I wasn't actually going to watch this, but I think the Virgil Ortiz fight has now been called off. Well, I don't think it would have clashed anyway. But I think this fight's in the UK. Let me just double check. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's in Dubai. I'm not sure. But I think it's okay for UK timing. So I will tune into this. I don't know how what it's going to be on, but I'm going to give it a watch. See, and maybe give my thoughts afterwards. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Are you going to watch this fight? Are you interested? Yeah. But thanks for listening, guys. Please like and subscribe. Help grow the channel. And good night.